my first poem, Alice recites to prove she's in her right mind. But it turns out incredibly wrong. She means to recite Isaiah's loss against idleness and mischief, but accidentally turns it into the crocodile. The crocodile. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin. How neatly spread his claws, and welcome little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. My next selection is a very nonsense poem. At first glance you wonder if it's in English and what does it mean? Even Alice states it seems very pretty, but it's rather hard to understand. Meant to show poets how not to write a poem, Jabberwocky has remained one of the most studied poems ever. Jabberwocky. 'Twas brillig, and the slightly toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy, where the boar grows, and the moan rat fell grave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the just bird that shuns the fumiest bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time that makes some foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And, as an uppish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes aflame came whistling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal flamelet snickered, snack! He left it dead, and with its head, he went galumphing back. And hadst thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, calloo, callay! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slightly toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy, where the boar grows, and the moan rats out grave. One of my favorite Carroll poems are said by the peculiar brothers Tweedledee and Tweedledum, delaying Alice's great hurry to go nowhere. They insist she listen to the poem simply because it's the longest. The Walrus and the Carpenter. The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright. And this was odd because it was the middle of the night. The moon was shining sulkily because she thought the sun had got no business to be there after the day was done. It's very rude of him, she said, to come and spoil the fun. The sea was wet, as wet as could be. The sands were dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because no cloud was in the sky. No birds were flying overhead. There were no birds to fly. The Walrus and the Carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand. If this were only cleared away, they said, it would be grand. If 7 maids with 7 moths swept it for half a year, do you suppose, the Walrus said, that they could get it clear? I doubt it, said the Carpenter, and shed a bitter tear. Oysters, come and walk with us, the Walrus did beseech. A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4 to give a hand to each. The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. The 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd, because, the hand didn't beat. For other oysters followed them, and yet another 4, and thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, all hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling to the shore. The Walrus and the Carpenter walked down a mile or so. Then they rested on a rock, conveniently low. All the little oysters stood and waited in a row. The time has come, the Walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. Why the sea is boiling hot. Whether pigs have wings. But wait a bit, the oysters cried, before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath, and carpenter said nothing but, "'Cause it's another slice. I wish you're not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice." "It seems a shame," the barber said, "to play them such a trick. After we brought them out so far, and made them talk so quick." The carpenter said nothing but, "The butter's spread too thick." "I weep for you," the barber said. "I deeply sympathize." With sobs and tears, he sorted out those largest of his size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. "Oysters," said the carpenter, "you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?" But answer there came none, and this was scarcely odd because they'd eaten every one. My fourth and final poem reflects on the whole nonsense universe. What is real? What is a dream? Life is but a dream. A boat, beneath the sunny sky, lingering onward dreamily, in an evening of July. Children three that nestle near, eager eye and willing ear, pleased a simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frost has slain July. Still she haunts